Hi everybody! Hi everybody! Hi everybody! I noticed that the past few weeks or months that I have honestly loved watching travel stories, and I decided that I was going to talk about my two craziest travel stories ever. I find them really funny now that I'm not in this situation anymore. When I was there, it was well, you'll see. You'll see what kind of mental state you would have been in if you would have been in that situation. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. So one I'm gonna mention actually very quickly that wasn't in the two that I was planning on talking about. I actually just thought of it when I was like, oh yeah, we were in Europe during that. We actually went to Europe not that long after the bombings in, I want to say it was in Paris. I'm gonna check because I want to get this right. Okay, yeah, so there was a bombing in November 2015 in Paris, and we went to Europe in March 2016. So a lot of parents were really nervous about us going, and some of the kids from the schools we went with actually pulled out, which was completely understandable. So we weren't supposed to stop in Belgium during our trip, but we ended up stopping because we were passing by. One of our teachers asked if we could to just see Belgium, and honestly, don't regret it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. The chocolate was incredible. And like, I'll put a little picture here, but like if you've ever been in the center of Belgium, it's like all the buildings are gold. They're beautiful. Anyway, it was amazing. But we were there in 2016 in March, and many people would know that Belgium was bombed at that time. In the, I think it was the airport and the train station, which I'm gonna check that before putting this information in, but we were in Belgium literally I think 9 hours before that bombing, and we didn't know about the bombing. We got on the bus to go to our next location. When we got there, our tour guide pulled us aside and said like, I just want to let you guys know there was a bombing in Belgium last night. And our parents at home all knew hours before we knew. We were still asleep, and they were all panicked because they didn't know, you know, where we were. We weren't supposed to be in Belgium anyway, and they knew we were there. I didn't have calling, so thankfully my teacher gave me her phone to call my mom, and I got to talk to her, and it was really scary because we were literally an hour from Belgium. And in Europe, I kind of explained it to my family and friends who were very worried about me at the time. In Europe, an hour can take you to another country, but in where I live, an hour doesn't even take me to the next province. So it was kind of hard to wrap our minds around. It was obviously, I was only 15 at the time, so I was very naive. And I was like, why are you worried? Like, we're fine. But you know, reality hit eventually. So that was one of my crazy stories that I completely forgot about for some reason. But now let's go back to our regular program videos. So the first one I'm going to talk about today is an experience I had in Paris. I went on a trip to Europe with EF Tours in 2016. It was an amazing experience, and we ended in Paris, and our trip was the Canadian battlefields, which I'm sure many people do, many Canadians do if they do EF Tours trips in Europe. We were at the Sacré-Cœur. For anybody who knows that, I will insert a picture right here. I think it's also my thumbnail. But we were at the Sacré-Cœur, and if you've ever been there, you know that like it's at the top, and then there's a flight of stairs, and then like a big walkway, and then another flight of stairs, and you're at the bottom. And at the bottom there is a carousel, and we were all around there because we already visited the Sacré-Cœur. We were waiting for our bus, and one of my friends was like, oh, I need the bathroom. So with EF Tours, our rule when we weren't with the adults or the teachers was that you had to be in groups of 3. So my friend had to pee, so her and her best friend were gonna go up to the Sacré-Cœur and use the bathroom up there. So I was like, I'll go with you guys. So we're 3 of us. That is a very popular location for like people trying to sell stuff to tourists, and we were so clearly tourists. We had our EF Tour backpacks on, cameras around our necks, like we did not fit in to the actual Paris lifestyle. And we went up the first flight of stairs, and my friend got grabbed her wrist by a big man, and he started making a bracelet on her wrist, which was their thing they do. So me and my other friend, we obviously couldn't run away. We couldn't leave her there. So we each got grabbed. So there was 3 of us. We each got grabbed and there's 2 men circulating and they were like watching us. I kept like trying to pull my wrist away from him. They were English, so I was speaking to them in English. So I was like, you know, we gotta go. Like, right, girls? Like, we have to go. Like, our bus is gonna leave any minute. And they were like, oh, like, calm down. We're just gonna make you this bracelet. Like, where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from Canada. And they're like, oh, Canada, like, nah, you guys are such nice people. Like, you're so happy. And now anytime I tell a story, I'm like, all I can think in my head is like, yeah, but I'm not happy right now. But anyway, they did our bracelets and they were all done. And we were like, okay, thanks. And they're like, no, you have to pay us now. And then they're haggling us. They're like up to us in our faces. They're like, okay, you have to pay now. You have to pay now. Where's your money? So we were told all to wear fanny packs. So I had my fanny pack like in my jacket. I pulled out like maybe 3 to 5 euros change and gave it to them and we left. We went up the next flight of stairs. At this point, we can't pee. The bus is gonna be there any second. So instead of going back down the same way, we go around and go down the other way. And at that bottom of the stairs, there is 5 other men waiting and one grabs my wrist. And I was like, hell no. And I pulled away and I kept walking and they didn't even try to grab my friends. Our tour guide warned us, but I just didn't expect it to be like that aggressive and in my face about it because I guess I've just been very privileged and I haven't had the opportunity to be like somebody jump in my face like that and like, I don't know, like make me very uncomfortable and get into like my bubble. But like that's how they make money, right? Like they made 3 to 5 euros just off me. But when we got back down to the carousel, our group was there and they're like, what took you so long? And we told them and they seen our bracelets and our tour guide's like, ah, they got you guys, didn't they? And we're like, yeah. One of the male teachers came by and he seen the bracelet on our wrists and he was like, oh, they got you guys. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, they got us too. But when they asked us to pay, he said, all I can pay you is from the love of my heart. And they cut it off. So like if you walk by where they are, there's just like a ton of cut off bracelets there for anybody who didn't pay. But yeah, that was an experience. That was I think like our first day in Paris. So we were a little tense. But we were warned, like, out of all the places we went, Paris is the one where they can tell you're tourists and the pickpocketers and the people like that will pickpocket you, so just be careful. I don't know if that's just a stereotype. My tour guide was from Paris, so I'd imagine he would know and not just give us stereotypes. I would hope not. We had 2 bad experiences in Europe, but the rest of the trip was amazing. Now we're gonna get to my second story, which involves my family. In 2018, we had a family trip in Montreal. It's honestly like one of my favorite places in Canada. I love Montreal. We were on a family trip in Montreal in 2018 and we decided to go to Parc Safari. For anybody who doesn't know it, I'm going to put a little video here showing what it is. Yeah, it was honestly terrifying, but it was a lot of fun. And when we were leaving Parc Safari, my stepdad realized like, oh my gosh, we're so close to the New York border. I'll take you guys there to show you it. Cause me and my sister have been wanting to go to New York forever. So we got there, we parked and we went into that little store. They had a Starbucks in there. We got a Starbucks drink. And I don't know if this is known to people. Like maybe we were just kind of stupid. But when we were leaving, we realized we had to go through the Canadian border. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone through the Canadian border and come into Canada, but they're kind of jerks. Like they wear their sunglasses and their black gloves. They just look like total tools. Like I'm not really sure how else to explain it. And it was in Quebec, so he was French. So my stepdad, who is French, was speaking to him in French. So my stepdad was trying to explain to this man. He was very nice to him. My stepdad was like, no, like, he was kind of like laughing about it. He was like, no, we don't have our passports because none of them have it but me. But we just came from Parc Safari, like we literally have our bracelets on. We didn't even leave Canada. We just went to the store and we had to do U-turn, whatever. And this guy just wasn't understanding it. So he sent us to immigration. And we parked and my mom and my sister were freaking out. Like my mom gets very worked up about things like that. I don't think I fully comprehended what was going on, but I was like, you know, we'll be fine. We will be fine. I didn't even have my passport on me. My passport was at our Airbnb. But I was like, we'll be fine. Don't worry about it, whatever. So we get into there and we're in the immigration line and the guys working there were like, are you guys in the wrong line? And we're like, no, because there was nobody else in there besides at the other line. And they're like, okay, like what's going on? And we explained to them the situation. We're like, yeah, we're Canadian citizens. We literally didn't even go to the States. We were in Montreal. We went to Parc Safari. We all still have our bracelets on. And we literally just came to see the border, did a U-turn, explained to the man at the border our situation, and he sent us in here. And they're like, okay, can we just see some proof that you're Canadian? So my little brother and my little sister we had both of their health cards. We had my license, and my mom and my stepdad both had their license. So we showed it to them, and they're like, yeah, you're good to go. We'll just click the button to let you out. And they were like so confused on why we were sent there. They're like, that guy could have just done that for you. Like, I'm so sorry. But I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry. We got out of there and my stepdad was like, yeah, I was kind of worked up too, but he didn't tell us until we left. But yeah, that was my, I guess, 3 crazy travel stories, because I forgot about the one in Belgium. Every trip was lots of fun, even though we had like those little hiccups in the situation. We still had lots of fun, lots of memories were made. I love traveling, especially with my family. That is all for the video today. I hope you guys have an amazing day and come back for my next video whenever that is. I'm hoping to start posting more regularly, especially since college is online right now. So yeah, have a great day. See ya.